Hello, hello, and welcome to day one of my live calls here in August 2022. I'm really looking forward to hello and welcome diving into this content. I've mapped out all of the trainings that I'm going to share with you, the stories that I'll be sharing with you from my life as well as clients' lives, and the tools to help you implement what I'm going to share. So this week is all about developing the ability to be present, no matter how busy your life is, and still get really important work done, because we have to bring in the income. We desire to help people and contribute in a meaningful way with our lives. The clients that I work with are international leaders. They are creative entrepreneurs, career-focused high achievers who have a really big why. And maybe not everyone that I work with is really clear on what their full dream is going to look like, but they know that they want their lives to matter. So today, as we hop into today's training, I want to invite you to be fully present for the 10 to 20 minutes I'm going to be sharing. And to tune in every day. Usually I'll be teaching Monday through Friday through the month of August. Then we're going to wrap up with a surprise bang offering at the end of August. Excuse me. Because when you tune in and you're watching live, even for 10 or 15 minutes, you're going to be able to have my direct support and get your questions answered around the topic that I'm going to teach on every week. So this week is developing a better ability to be more present instead of caught up in the busyness of life and feel like you can't achieve your heart's desires. So if you're watching live, I'm going to invite you to put your name in the chat and let us know where you're from. Also, what you would like me to train on in August, and I can see how I would fit that into my plan that I already have. Let's jump into today's content. So if you're watching this, you probably already know I'm Amy Engelmark, and you probably already know that I specialize in working with international leaders and career-focused entrepreneurs who want to make a bigger contribution, and they want to enjoy health and wealth and happiness without sacrificing what's important to them. And today we're talking about how to be fully present even in life's busiest seasons and still get really important work done. First, please put your name in the chat if you're watching live or you're watching this recording, and let us know what you would like to learn over the month of August. What would you like me to teach? If you could ask me anything, what would you have me teach that would really be valuable to you? I'd really love to hear that, and I will make a training specifically for you. And then at the end, like I said, of August, as I teach every weekday at 11 o'clock, I'll be offering you a special wrap-up session to help you implement everything that you've learned. There's 3 P's that I want to share with you today. 3 P's that will help you be more present. And also a story from my life. So the first P to help you be more present is prioritize your dreams. And I mean all of your dreams. Now, typically as leaders, what I see is people focus on others' dreams, helping others be happy, and they can forget about their own needs, because they're so focused on being in service to others. And if you can relate, I want you to put an asterisk or an exclamation point in the comments if you can relate to prioritizing other people's dreams above your own. I want to remind you right now that your dreams matter and that you matter. And when you are generous to others, you can still be generous to yourself. So I want you to write down right now, what dreams have I been putting on the back burner? Because if you don't prioritize what's important to you as well as what's important to your family and the people that you work with or for, it's really hard to be present in your work. Or when you're taking time off and work is done for the day, or you're on a vacation, it's really hard to be present and enjoy that quality time in the moment when you are not paying due diligence to the dreams in your heart. Sometimes my clients have a hard time enjoying their vacation because they either, one, are still looking after everyone's needs and not speaking up about their own. They're so out of touch with their own sometimes that they don't know what their heart's desires are, what their personal needs and wants are, because it's been so long since they've been paying attention to them. And two, sometimes they don't pay attention to their needs because it feels like it's hard to be present, because it feels like what they would like to accomplish is insurmountable and too big. And they spend so much of their time when they're with their family overwhelmed by the fact that their dream is too big, which makes them feel sad that they're not moving it forward because they're overwhelmed. So ask yourself, I want you to write down, how could I be generous to myself? That's the first fill in the blank. I want you to write in your paper there on your notebook. And then the second is, how could I be generous towards others? When you think about your priorities and others' priorities, those two fill in the blanks will help you be more present in the moment because you're taking care of your needs and others' needs. So be generous. I'm in the summer season right now here in British Columbia, Canada. And when you're prioritizing so that you can be more present, you might also consider the fact that the seasons do dictate where your focus needs to flow. And if you prioritize by the season that you're in, it will really help you reap the crop you want later on. I've been reading this book by Chris Valentin, and he talks about how we're always eating last year's crops. So if you're finding it difficult to pay attention to your family when you're having downtime, or you're finding it difficult to pay attention to work because you feel like you should be with your family, or you're not getting the time for yourself that you want, so it's hard to pay attention at work, that might be a result of you not paying attention to what needed to be focused on a few months ago so that you could set yourself up with a really great routine during the summer, or allow yourself to be more flexible over the summer. So now you have an opportunity, if you've noticed that things aren't working really well, or they could be working better in your family life or at work so that you can be more present and focused. Now is your opportunity to prioritize what needs to be prioritized so that you can prepare for even a month in the future. What you do now, what you focus on now and prioritize now will help you in the future. So ask yourself that. How could I prioritize? What would I need to prioritize right now that would help me in the future? That would help me be even more present 2 weeks from now. The second P is practicing patience. If we get this art down, then our ability to be present will be strengthened. I'm going to tell you a story about practicing patience in my life, which was a very challenging couple of months in my life. We had bought a home and we were doing renovations on it, and our children were probably 9 and 10. And it was really challenging for me to be present with them. I would go from enjoying myself, involved in the hard work at the time, and making meals and taking care of the kids and running my business and supporting my husband, who was doing a lot of the hands-on carpentry work. And then I would flip to this other sense of impatience, like my personal dreams weren't moving forward quickly enough. Have you ever felt that anguish? And this is the more poetic side of me, like the anguish of the soul, really, of your desires not being paid attention to. I felt that anxious feeling because I wanted certain things to be happening in my business and to see expansion in that period of time while we were doing the renovations. And I wasn't seeing how I could pour time into my business as much as I wanted to, so that I could get the result that I wanted, grow my income, so that I could be working with the next level type of leaders that I wanted to. And what I noticed was I was trying to control the timing of the result that I wanted. And this is a really important lesson. Whenever we believe that we know the best timing for our lives, we're walking a tightrope, because we are only seeing part of the big picture of our lives. And we don't know the whole picture. We don't know what's best for us. We might have a sense of what we would enjoy most or what would meet our needs, but we really don't have a full understanding. And I definitely didn't. I felt like I wanted control, which created anxiety, which created lack of ability to be present. And that really stopped me from being able to enjoy those few months of my life as much as I could have. And maybe you can relate. So what I want to encourage you to do is to trust in those seasons of darkness where you can't see the fruit of your labor, when you've been watering a seed, when you've been pouring time and energy into next level, into business activities to create next level business growth, or next level marriage connection, or next level personal health and better habits for yourself. If you're not seeing the fruit of your labor yet, don't give up hope, because if you give up hope, then you can't be present to enjoy the scenery around you, the people around you, the preciousness of this time right now. Today, we're talking all about presence if you're just joining us. So getting back to that story from my life to wrap it up, after about 6 months of working on this home and this property and pouring our time and energy into it, the desire of my heart to grow my business and help more people and yield our family, bring more money into our family to be able to live the lifestyle that I desired, that was met and far exceeded by the income that that house sale generated. And I couldn't have predicted that, because the market changed, and what I expected to be able to sell that house for was a lot lower than what we got. So keep your eyes set on the truth that there's always a better plan around the corner that you can't see. And we're going to get into this more. I'm going to share more on expectation, the necessity for expectation to be able to help that seed pop out of the ground that you've been watering and actually produce a real visible plant. But it's really necessary for you when you're feeling like you're in that cave period of life or cave season of life that stops you from being able to be present because you're anxious about something that's not materializing yet. Remember that there's a bigger timing for your life that's better than you can even imagine. And if you keep your eyes on that and you hold that expectation firm and strong, you're going to be able to be in the present, as well as trusting that the future holds things that are better than you can imagine for you and your family and the people that you work with. Third P. So those first two P's, if you remember, are to prioritize your dreams. So be generous towards yourself and others. Prioritize your dreams, work and personal related, as well as considering the needs of others around you. And then the second P was to practice patience. Patience is easier when you practice trusting and expecting that the best outcome is happening right now before you can even see it. And the third P is to be persistent. Anything worth pouring your energy and time into, like your children or your spouse or a big work-related goal, career-focused goal, anything that's worth it, anything that's important is worth the effort. And sometimes it's going to feel like a slog. Like, I don't feel like doing that. I don't have the drive to do that. But you can bring yourself back down to earth, firmly plant your feet on the ground, and be in the present by remembering why you're doing it. So sometimes you might not even, I've heard clients say to me that they felt guilty about it, but they didn't even feel like they could enjoy their children because they were so passionate about their work that they felt like their children were hindering their ability to focus on work. Now, that sometimes is a result of us realizing the reality that raising children is tough work sometimes. Being married and working through challenging issues is tough work sometimes. Pushing a professional dream forward to be able to make a bigger, meaningful mark with your life and make the income that you want is tough work sometimes. It's going to take a lot of energy. So you need to recenter and refocus on your why, your mission. Why is it worth it? And get yourself in alignment. Because if you've forgotten your why, then you won't bother making the time or the effort, right? So be persistent, because persistence pays. Persistence always pays off. The people who are successful usually just didn't give up. They believed. They believed that it was worth it to spend that quality time with their spouse, to open up conversation with their children, to play when they didn't feel like playing, to learn the new skill in their career that they felt they were learning way too slowly, but they remembered why they were doing it, how they were going to help the people on the other end of the video, how they were going to help the other people on the other end of the book that they wrote or in the audience that they were speaking to. And they focused on that mission and that vision, and they held it higher than their emotional state. They didn't let their emotional state run the show. They dictated their thoughts. They dictated their emotions in alignment with the vision. And they let that supernatural energy flow through them to motivate and inspire them to take action. So you can choose for yourself who you want to be today. If you want to be someone who's always double-minded and not able to be present, always thinking about work when you're with your family, or always thinking about your family when you're at work and not really focusing. Or you can be the type of person who learns these skills in order to be present and focused on the work at hand, or present and focused on developing the deep connections with the people who really matter. It's just one choice away, my friend. So, like me, practice trusting in yourself and practice thinking bigger about what's possible for you, and you will change and transform as a person and as a professional leader. If you have any questions, I would love you to put them in the chat, and I would love you to invite a friend to join our community here and have access to all of these trainings that I'll share over the month of August, because it's going to be a really rich opportunity for you to grow and expand with me and to be inspired by the other people in this community. If you'd like to learn more about my group mentorship program, send me a message and you and I can hop on a call and I can let you know what options I have available. And you can also have access to a taster session with me if you want to learn how to be more present in your own life. Okay, have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific.